so I have to tell you that one of the things I'm afraid of is because this works so well, is that I'm going to want more of it than what it just is. So that's just my because that's my, when it's like a high. It's like when you find something that you really like, all you want is more of that. And you realize that, no, this is what this is, and just being able to hold to that.
Right.
Because that's, to me, understanding that now, older, is that's what's great. This is just what this is.
This right. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, because the moment we are coming in from such different world, the moment we start like posing expectations
right.
and
naming,
Right.
because that's what happens. I remember when I was coming out of college, ran away to New York, I considered myself ambisexual because I didn't want to be identified as any one thing because I was a number of things. But I realized it's like, oh no, people want you to identify as something so you can be named, so you can know where to go and who's going to be there, and it's also going to be that. No, but you're in a different time, which I think is fascinating. I mean, I have no idea what it's like to be young in the 21st century.
And a panther.
And the panther. And this newly evolved spirit in this time. It's where it's like you land in so many places, but then you also fly over so many places. That's what's... Now, see, I only see it when I see you, so I don't know how your interaction is with your other universes, your other metaverses.
Right.
So it would be interesting to see how you got to see me for a moment down there at the theater.
For the high five.
Well, for high five, but I was thinking about the.
Oh, you were just thinking about like 2 days ago.
2 days ago,
yeah,
right?
That was also really cool to see because you walked in and you were like, just walked into a space and just found home in like a second. You're like, I know exactly what I'm like. I'm here now. Like I
here's what we're gonna do. We need to talk to you about this. Boom. Yes.
This. Yeah. Walking in with the energy of, I'm gonna come in and do my thing and bless so many people around me.
Right.
Some of them don't even realize the way I'm blessing them, but I gotta bless them still.
You still. I love calling it that. Yes.
I feel like we're already getting into beautiful conversations, so we can just go ahead and start. Any last questions before?
Wow. There's this big question that always re-emerges for me just every time I hear it is panther. When did you discover?
When did I discover that I'm a panther? I think someone I really looked up to was telling me things about the energy of the Black Panther, and they mentioned this fact then that I think they later found might not be the most validated, but the fact was that the Black Panther is eats meat, is carnivorous, but the only plant-based thing it seeks out for is mushrooms. Psilocybin mushrooms, and I was like, that's a cool animal. Now okay. That just really intrigued me. And back home there's so many stories of like the big cat is seen as a symbol of strength and fire, and so I feel like it was conditioned all throughout my life, but it was baked into me, an appreciation for the panther spirit. And then I started calling myself that just to see how, as a social performative thing. As okay, I'm going to say I'm a panther because then we'll get to start this conversation. I could say these 5 sexy things about being a panther, and then we can just play. And then I feel like it started as a joke, but then I was like, wait, this is actually really powerful. This is actually really powerful, and let's tap in unapologetically and let's tell everyone I'm a shiny panther, Yeah.
It's like a wonderful embracing, though.
Yeah.
Because you're also sharing it. I mean, that's what's great about it. It's like it was fun for you, but now it's also a part of all the people who interact with you in your world.
Right, and I think the best thing is then I get to in this world. I get to go. There's so many humans, but there are some people who are tapping into animal form. So I now have a fox friend, a bat friend.
You have a forest.
Other panthers. I have a whole forest. And this is all in a couple months. So imagine when I am sunsetting my vibrant career, the whole zoo of people that...
The jungle and the oceans will all come forth here.
I will have a global meetup, Just all animals.
Oh my God, that would be great. You're going to have to get some birds. There have to be some flying.
There has to be some birds. Should we start the first episode of
so how do we start?
I'll just give a clap, or I can give you a clap.
Oh, I've already got the clap a long time ago. Don't ever have to do it again. It wasn't painful. You take some pills. Anyway, time for the clap.
दोस्तों और दुश्मनों, my people, my folks, my frenemies, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I welcome all of y'all to tap in for some chai time. Chai time with the Panther. We are here today with another panther.
Another panther. Another black panther, no less.
Another black panther.
We have names, I guess.
We have names.
In 2022, actually it started in 2021, my name is Harry Waters Jr., he, him, his, Black Lives Matter, Sordo Elderberry. I want to say Black Lives Matter every day, and Sordo is my superhero. He's a left-handed leftist.
Left-handed leftist.
And I encourage everyone to become find your superhero and your power, and just say it, because there is something that you bring to the world, and it's magic. And I tell that story in every meeting I go to, because for one, it opens up a different kind of energy.
Yeah.
Two, it makes people really sort of connect to you because you've told a story.
Yeah.
And people are story oriented. That's how you get to know each other, by telling stories.
And it's even how you remember things in the past in your relationship. Often it's like you have a narrative. You have a story about the whole journey with your one friend, you know?
If you were to ever tell a story with your friend about how you all met, there may be things that are similar, but there's going to be those things that you go like, I remember, don't you remember that thing that was so cool?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's been a while since, or actually this is a question that I have.
Okay.
How is it in the world of finding friends and making friends? Because that's first of all, that's a panther thing also. It's like we are waiting in the shadows sometimes, and sometimes we are right there on the branch.
Yeah. Ready to strike.
Ready. Sometimes, sorry, you're already back from striking because it was so fast. You missed it. It was there. But then there's this other thing of what's the how does one make friends now? What is it like, or what's it like to even be friends? Because I've always found that was the one thing for me growing up that was a challenge, is that I had no friends.
I think here's my latest answer. I think that the answer changes every 2 weeks.
Oh my God. I
It's
kind
a
of like
crazy
that.
world out there.
That one works. That one works.
So I feel like the answer that is most recent is I am very okay with taking the first step into inviting someone into my home space and showing them love and care, and very often that's the first chai I have with people. And then maybe I'll do another chai, and then I'm like, okay, has this person yet entertained the idea or opened up the idea of actually also holding me in their space, holding me in an atmosphere of care, and not just extracting from me, you know, because I've had to be more mindful of that more I've come. There have been times where I've just felt like, okay, you know, my blessings and pourings are sweet, and you think, I don't know, it's like it can go one way or unconditionally only for so long. I want to see something, and I call up people on to do that too.
Yeah.
Now I feel more comfortable. It's like, how do you feel about, like, why is this existing? So so whoever passes that test, I feel like
and they don't know that it's a test, but it is some options of this makes sense.
Yeah.
Totally makes sense. That's fascinating.
No, go ahead. What were you saying?
No, I was saying that because there was a period of time that I always talk about this. I used to talk about it with my therapist. I don't really need anymore. Thank you. I don't know why.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yeah.
That I would, the way I would make friends is whatever it was you needed, I would be the person to help you get that or do it. It's like my morals will be whatever yours are. Because if I have mine, they're not important. So that was how I became friends with people. I was just trying to be with them. I wasn't being me because I didn't know who the hell that was.
Yeah.
And it was easy to just like, okay, so they like this and they like that. So how do I figure out how to like that too, whether I like it or not?
Right. Yeah.
And then when it doesn't fit, I get annoyed. It's like, well, but I've done all this work and we're not friends.
So talking about friendships, and you were talking about how your outlook on that has changed. I think one of the reasons I really appreciate you and respect you has been an emphasis on kind of long-term relationships as well. I feel like you are moving through the world. You seem open to beings as they appear, new people, and you're doing so much work out there. But you've also managed to sustain so many friendships from the past, and revisiting them at different points. I feel like at a time where long-term relationships aren't so much prioritized in the popular culture, how I feel is it's like, if this person is doing this, you need to have your boundaries from this person. Let's cast them away, and I feel like a sense of long-term relationship, what it takes, the kind of forgiveness that takes. That's
a good word. That's because we're human, and we all make these human-ass mistakes. And sometimes we don't want to, given circumstances, we don't want to forgive. Whether it's ourselves or the other person. And that means that nothing happened, but there's something else that maybe you are not even going to know about why you're still in some sort of orbit with that person. You don't know what it's going to be. You don't know what it's going to be.
Yeah.
And it always is surprising. It's always surprising. And the thing that I'm sort of aware of now, I guess because of these pandemic years and being sort of in smaller spaces, is how it can also affect how you are with yourself. How present are you with you?
Yeah.
If there's we perform at home as well. We perform the cleaning the kitchen, we perform the getting dressed, perform the making the bed, perform the
You think we also
out.
perform when no one's looking, all of us, at some point?
I think there is some point, yes.
Right? Yeah,
right. There definitely is, because
I'm like, wait, why am I doing this? When I catch myself doing that, I'm like, no one's even
watching you. The one thing I've started doing for myself is I start singing out loud when I'm by myself.
I love that. Yes.
Singing this huge song, sometimes making shit up, and it's so much fun. And it has got me with it, so I can be friends to myself.
Yeah.
And which I didn't, I'm sure you probably already ahead, but it's something that I'm just now actually discovering.
That's beautiful way to put it, like being a friend to yourself. I've never thought about it like that.
Yeah.
I've thought about, what does it mean to love and accept myself? But a more digestible way of thinking through a lot of the lessons that have come my way in the last year is honestly, you're befriending yourself. Everyone else told you, or at least they did me, that my voice wasn't good, shit and then I was like, I would refrain from singing, and I was like, wait, I enjoy hearing me sing.
feels good. It vibrates.
It vibrates.
Yes, that's
inside,
what it does.
Right, just fully, yeah. And then now I realize the more I see that beauty, it sounds beautiful to other people too. But let's first be friends with myself.
Be friends with yourself.
Wow.
And it's another one of those that it's so simple, of course, it's like scenes, but I'm just learning. This is my thing. Like I'm now that you're inspiring me is finding the language for it. Being friends to yourself. That's something I would never have thought to put together. 5 years ago.
5 years ago. Yeah.
Not even. No. But now it's kind of like that's I can use that word, resilience. That's the strength that we get to practice of being friends to yourself. It's usually you're just it's tolerating conditions. It's getting through. It's going along with.
Right. Making chai for you.
You make now that's something else. That's being friends with us. But that's also being friends with you because, as you say, you enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
There's a tactile, just vibrational, spiritual thing that happens with this thing that you do. Like, yeah.
But it's finding something in alignment with just you, alignment with your center. So
yes. Yours is chai, mine is screaming in the park. As my father says, yelling in the park.
Yelling in the park. So outside voices, Harry. Outside voices. It's been such a fucking gift to come in and be like, hell yes, outside voices. This is me, all a panther.
Yes,
yeah.
All the time.
The time.
Yes.
And so coming into this, and I've seen you describe even over the time what it is and how it has been there, a space for you, not just by you, and then letting it evolve like organically, all seasons enduring all of that.
Right.
So this outside voices journey that started happening outside McAllister.
Oh yes.
Outside
Outside McAllister.
Outside McAllister.
Outside, being black, old, gay, artist, all those things are outside. And usually the trans community was with me.
Yeah.
Lesbians. Children, we are all outside voices, So to be able to call it that also, and it took Tom to remind me, it's like, because we were just being outside screaming. It was like, we need to be out here! And everyone needs to share their voices, because everyone is always told to use your inside voice.
Right.
No one ever says use your outside voice. Very seldom. Could you use your outside voice, please? Please use your inside. That's the thing that puts you down. But to be invited to have your outside voice was what was key. And also, it's just been evolving over time, is that I also liked hanging out with my friend Katie.
Yeah.
So once again, we developed this wonderful just friendship that's been longer lasting than we even knew each other before. We had just become, we were seeing each other because they were running the Transgender Youth Support Network.
Yeah.
That was for quite a while over on Chicago and 34th. So I knew them from doing that community work, and then they went back to school and they're doing the performance work now. So we've been sort of like have crossed back and forth, and just the fact that we just bottom line, we just love each other. It's just
exactly. Yeah, and then this gives you a routine to even just meet the other person.
Right.
For me, for example, getting to know you was, and even the other people in Outside Voices, was that this is now becoming a neighborhood community ritual for me.
Right. Yes.
It's a ceremony.
Yes.
And it's reliable, and we're coming there to be with each other.
It was a ritual, so it pulls something there. But yes, the fact that having something that gives you joy that people can connect to, but not have to commit to in a certain way, but they can enjoy. But it's also something that they take away with them. See, there's the taking away of like, there was this crazy thing I saw in the park today.
Right.
Or they take away, oh my God, I feel so much better having done something different. There is an effect that it has, no matter what, because it's present. There's even the people that say no, I'm not interested. They noticed, and we actually spoke.
And we spoke, right?
Right.
And every time I see those people, and especially if it's someone wearing headphones and just saying no, and I was like, you just had such a beautiful gift waiting here. We invited you to. You don't even know what you're missing out on. I'm so sad for you because you could have come here being so much more alive. Sometimes non-judgment becomes a difficult virtue.
Yes. Hold on to it.
Hold on. See, like for everyone out there, imagine walking through Powderhorn Park. You're walking, and then you see in the middle of snow, rain, or sun, all of it, you see a colorful parachute. And on that parachute, there are some interesting characters
In the park. Very bizarre. How do they even get connected together?
Saturday around 1 p.m. And then you see, I guess now winter is here, you'll see
snowsuits.
The most vibrant old man in a blue snowsuit, jumping in joy, calling you in. So if you see that, why the fuck would you walk away?
Exactly. Oh my God.
The age range on that. Can we talk about, like last time I was there, it was 7 to
70. We'll just call it. That's Outside Voices, 7 to 70. All y'all are welcome. Yes. And 7 to 70 can scream. That's what's so great. Oh my God.
Why did the tiger fall down?
They wanted attention, I think. Okay. We should show them. Should we show them?
You know where this tiger is from?
Colombia. Guess where Panther is going?
Hey, don't. Yeah, how's the
New Jersey?
How's the chai?
The chai is almost gone because I drank it. You've been sipping yours very patiently. Is that a leaf on the side?
No, that's not a leaf. You know what that is?
What is
it's
that?
malai. You know what malai
like the skin on the top?
The skin on the top is just the heavy cream skin floats up, and that's the tastiest part.
So many bad things I could say about that right now, but I won't. See what happens? It's not my fault. It's the chai at the core. Yes. Mm-hmm.
You know what this chai has, Harry?
Oh, what? Some good things, apparently.
Now I'm going to test you because I've shared with you what the chai has every time I've made it. So, did you know this podcast is also going to be a quiz into seeing how much you've really learned about it?
Is there a paper I can write? Do some extra credit because I failed that one. I'm just going to say chocolate. Salt.
Hey, I'm salty, so you know. Salt is a good one. Absurd amounts of ginger. Remember that from your home? Absurd amounts of ginger.
Now, when you say it, now it's now I'll remember it because and absurd amounts of ginger. That's what makes the best chai.
Best chai. Also, absurd amounts of cardamom.
Of cardamom, right?
Yeah.
That gives it that
that spice.
The spice.
Spicy. Yeah.
Spicy. Spicy Panther.
Spicy
Panther. Yes. Or is it Panther Spice?
I could say a lot of things about Panther Spice. Yes. I don't think right now is the moment.
We have a few more episodes. We'll get there. We'll get there at another time. Oh my God.
So, but for this year, for me, something that's been beautiful has been exploring what is there at the intersection of black and brown cultures.
Oh,
and the word that has come, the word I use, everyone who I'm in community with right now, they are, all of them have observed that I use the word spicy too many times with my food, but not just with food. Then it's with
people,
with all sorts of joy, with even describing everyday conversation. Like this for me, I'm like this conversation. I'm thinking of everything in terms of how spicy it is. Should we turn up the spice?
Oh, I see. Okay.
So I feel like black and brown cultures. I feel like what's there holding us together is a shared love for things that are spicy. Yeah, that a little too spicy maybe, that to be digestible for some of the other folks, but we get
so many layers and levels that are and those people watching have no idea. You had to be here, or you had to be there a couple of weeks ago. We talked about these few things. You sure you can't be back in January? Oh my God! You're gonna be in India. You're not in the States.
I'll be in India dancing in an Indian wedding.
Okay.
So I'll be doing
You'll be doing Panther Spice. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You'll be being Panther Spice.
Panther Spice. Spice Panther Disco Daddy. You know.
Wow, you really upped it. Daddy on the end. Oh. I guess why not call it now and you
tell it how it is.
Tell it how it is. Just pull it. I'm saying okay. Spice Disco Daddy. I want to see the outfits. I want to see the outfits because you're not going to be, or are you? Do you have to be traditional?
I have to. I feel like I do have to put some cages around me. Because a fully free panther might be a little too dangerous for my people and
and for you possibly.
And for me possibly, you know. But I'm gonna be doing some journeying away from home, and I'm looking that as avenues to like unlock the panther, you know, because I can't hold it down for too long. Like you were saying.
Yeah.
But strike is inevitable.
It's gonna come. I'm sorry. You shouldn't have been standing there.
So I'm just like prepping for those strike moments.
Yeah, right. Oh my God. Okay, so what I like about this, thank you very much. That was that panther vibe we took off on. There were some other topics, and I like the idea of topics just because they're the thing about that's interesting for me to notice is that your topics are really not random.
Not random, no.
No, they're very specific. And that's probably like how your brain works as well. There's some specificity that you can appreciate.
Yeah.
Because then you can go from there.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a podcast. This is my virgin experience with a podcast.
Have you been in a podcast
Never.
before? You've never been in a podcast?
No. Why would I be in a podcast?
Don't people come interviewing Harry Potter students?
People have asked me to, you know, but not. I never. It was always something that is like, I didn't have time, or I just never did. But anyway, here I am now, sitting in Charles Avenue, St. Paul, Minnesota.
St. Paul, Minnesota.
There are other times. Because I know it still happens to me when if I'm in the car and I drive across the river, I go like, I'm living in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Yeah, except you found Powderhorn. You found that neighborhood where you are, which we were talking about all things spicy, I was going to get to. I feel like Powderhorn is a spicy neighborhood.
Yeah, it is.
There are things that are nice about St. Paul, but sometimes I'm like, but Lake Street is the spiciest street there ever was in Minneapolis.
Right, exactly. It's like alive with lots of multi-culti peoples, you know, as opposed to one thing, which is why it keeps which is part of the spice, you know. Yeah, I'm really glad that I live in that neighborhood, I have to say. And going downstairs, it's like, well, these are the people I know, you know. I mean, like, I'm used to seeing multiple races, hearing languages. Except when you go to the white corner, as I call it. I'm shamelessly calling it the white corner.
I feel like the first time you described it, and I didn't even know it was like, I hadn't seen it from the inside. I'd walked past the Midtown Global Market, and when you said it, you didn't even have to mention that was the brewery. I was like, I know what you're talking about. That's always been a misfit over there. Like, I've always walked, I was like, what is this? Or like, everything else here, like, you know, there's the Chicago Lakers inside this. There's so many, there's the shoe lot, and you look around and And there's Lake Street, of course, but then what
is this?
What is this group of people doing in the middle of all of it? Like literally the spiciest market. Like what are these
place
people?
could be. I used to call them the lumber sexuals. Because they all had that little kind of red beard, and they'd bring their kids to the bar and put them up on the counter. It's like, okay.
They do that?
Yes.
How have other white folks not policed them into not doing that?
Why would they police them into not doing that?
Because white folks love policing.
No, they don't police each other. Why would they police each other? They're the ones that are doing it.
They're the ones that are doing it.
Yeah, that was another part of the world.
And Minneapolis, how many years has it been now? Is Powderhorn the place which feels most like home?
We've been where we're living right now for like 13 years.
13 years.
Which I can't believe that. We had a party when I got tenure.
Remember you kept telling us you came in 2020. And you kept saying it's 13 years. And me and Ivan are like... 2020 though, like, and you said it's rice, and both of us are like, okay, this isn't adding up. Like, are we both tweaking, or is this man tweaking?
Something's happening here. And it was me. Yeah. Oh, another number. 2000. Oh yeah, been here since 2000.
2000, yeah.
Well, 2000 is when I was in grad school in Madison. And would come back and forth because the kids were here with their mom out in Robbinsdale. And then they went back to California, and then I met Tom, and then he was had just broken up from somebody. And we met out of the blue. It came together. We'll leave it. It's another episode.
It's another episode, yeah.
But I'm feeling generous and loving. And then I started working at McAllister. But then that first year, I made connections in the artistic community, like at the Playwright Center.
First year after McAllister, just first year?
First year, everything happened on the spring of 2003.
Okay, that's when...
That's when I was in my last semester of grad school. I was working as the facilitator for the Many Voices Roundtable for Emerging Writers of Color. I was an assistant director at Penumbra Theater on a production of 7 Guitars with some of the best actors in the Twin Cities, so I got to meet them all. And I was teaching this beginning acting class at McAllister that had 6 international students in it.
Oh, wow.
My first class out of grad school was like 6 international students to teach an acting class. I was in heaven because I had to find scripts. There was Malaysian, Iranian, Hindi, and what's the other religion? That's what was her boyfriend's? And they couldn't get married. Muslim, excuse me. Right, I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. The Iranian, God, she was a mess. There was a girl from Iceland.
Iceland as well. Okay, right. I didn't know they had humans there.
Rosendatter, yes, they do. So I was trying to find plays that culturally they could read, because most of them hadn't read any plays. And I certainly hadn't read any plays in those cultures at all.
At all, okay.
At all.
Even from your years living in New York, LA?
No. When I was in New York, it was the Black Arts Movement. So I was doing so much black theater because it was the time that you could do it. I mean, actually, there was and still exists, now it's older, black community of making theater where we were doing it everywhere. Yes, you can do it in a church. You can also do it in we were doing found spaces in New York City. There were several different theater companies in Manhattan and in Brooklyn. So we got to know each other by making theater. But we weren't trying to make other theater, because no one was inviting us to the other theaters. So we were making our own plays. And I was just an actor, sort of, I was the journeyman. Like, what do you need done? I'll do that. I'll play the kid with just shorts on and it's 13 below and a in the theater. It's like, what am I doing? Hanging lights.
So that's okay.
But so we didn't get an exposure to a lot of other theater, and it's only because we just weren't doing it.
Right.
You know?
And then when those 6 international kids came, that gave you...
oh my God. I had to learn how to teach differently.
Oh, wow.
Yes, of course. I mean, I could do my exercises that I always do, but then I would always invite them to share another way of doing it. And that sort of endeared me to them because they were seeing that I see them, because I'm not going to tell you that. There was still that, I'm the professor, I'm the student, but when I'm like, I want to see what you do. It was like, it just brought them up some more. 2 of them ended up getting married because they've been in a scene together.
Wow.
There was also a history that my class had of Chinese students that would take acting. That the word would get out to a few Chinese students to take this, but not anybody else's, but to take mine, if someone else was offering it, because it was challenging. And so I was really sort of honored that that was part of the landscape. People would be terrified and leave, but some people would stay.
Some people, yeah. And that's that kind of an openness towards someone coming from outside. I feel like you are someone who's been here for so long, and I get this like I wasn't trying to call you old.
I'm an elder.
An elderberry.
An elderberry. Yes. I used to play old man. Now I am an old man.
That was so good. I looked at you and I was like, damn, you look more than 100 years old right now.
Do this real easy. But then,
whoa!
That's my other play that I want to have. I want to have my old self talk to myself now, like my 90-year-old self talking to my 70-year-old self. What would he have to say? What would he have seen that I'm probably obsessing about?
Right.
That I need like chill the fuck out about.
Yeah. Isn't that so often the voice we need to hear? That's every time I think about what would I tell my past self about is like relax on that. Like, just honestly relax on that.
Honestly, like chill out.
It's not that deep. I know every moment is like a movie right now, but it is not that deep. You can
give yourself a break. That's something we don't learn is how to give ourselves a break. For what reason? Why is that? Because at some point we do, but why?
Because we're moving through such unforgiving times, like we were talking about earlier, and I think it's. Do you feel, as an outsider here, I feel a sense of general hostility. Sometimes when that doesn't need to be there. And it is, and I feel like this time and place, this culture right now, we have come up and agreed on some definition of what is the perfect, best way to do things, what is the right way. And everything outside of that gets
wrong.
It's wrong, but also gets punished a little too much. I'm saying we can say it's wrong, we can talk about it, but we have to like move past. Like we have to have a room for error and be like...
Yes, or like move with it. I think that's...
Move with it, yes.
Yeah, because it's still transitioning, whatever the thing is that we're even obsessed about. And how do we stay... We can't stop it. We can't stop it from growing. But we can just be aware of what it's doing. Or what it's doing to us, I guess.
Right.
Is that a cigarette or is that your...
Do you think this is a cigarette? But no, I hear what you were saying. I should be easy on you. I'm talking about moving through unforgiving times, and sometimes I'm the most unforgiving.
It's like, do it! Okay.
Like, Harry, how dare you?
But that's what works. Thank you.
That's what works. I feel like having some sense of ridicule.
Right.
Some sense of, we need that.
Right.
You know? Like, let's talk about the things that need to be talked about, but why aren't we laughing along the way?
Yes, that's... See, when we see this later, whoever you are, there's a lot of laughing going on, and it's not just because of what we did before this, but it's also so healthy. And I think that's one of the things I miss is laughter. You know, it's like, how do you encourage, promote, and provide space for laughter to be there.
Yeah.
Because everyone, this is my other sort of, I don't know what I would call it, mantra that I want to like bring more joy. Like,
yeah,
let joy run rampant today and always. That was my closing on my signature all the years I was at McAllister. Let joy run rampant today and always.
Wow.
And it made sense. I can't remember how I thought of it, but it was something I wanted to say.
But it was original. It was
exactly what I wanted. Yeah, it was mine. Yeah.
Wow.
And it made sense because that's really what I wanted. And I knew I needed to keep it in front of me, in the sense of I need to remember that, because if I don't, then I sink into the woe, arbigar, slash, gulps, stuff that I can go to as well. Because I am an extremist. I think that's the other thing. Well, I think we all are. We're emotion. We are emotion.
And passionate ones.
And the passionate ones, it's even denser because the emotions are right there.
Yeah.
So when it's pushed, it's like, then what is it? Where is it going to? Is it actually turning? But it's still being contained, that you have these emotions. And certain work situations, it's not safe to have emotions, or at least to show or
the
talk
full
about
range
them.
of your emotions, right?
Right.
It's just give us something that's digestible.
There's a lane. Just stay in that lane, and then that's all we need.
And it's often the less spicy lane,
Oh, it's never a spicy lane. Oh my God, can you imagine? Give me the spicy lane, please, please. Yes. Oh my God, I'm there. I'm there. It's like usually it's like nice to. Oh no, okay. No.
Yeah, something else you said was everyone's talking about being present.
Mm-hmm.
But I love that you told me one day as I was going to some experience, I didn't know what to expect, and you were like, don't think about it, just be present and be pleasant. And the be pleasant part also needs to come with being present. Like,
yeah.
I feel like there are so many sad truths around us, floating around us, that if we are immersed in that, but we are not being pleasant, we are not laughing, it's damaging for the spirit.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not that they're not there. It's what we do with outside voices, that we're there and we're choosing to laugh at them, not because they're funny, but we're choosing to put that kind of energy there to deal with them.
To deal with it.
They're not going to go away. So, how do we deal with this? Okay, laughter puts more air in you, so that actually helps you to deal with the crisis, the horrible thing, the news bad, the families dying, all of those things. Everybody who's been there, except for one person was struck, was like totally destroyed about, someone said that their mother was dying. And they couldn't take it. So I've only known of one. But other people who've been there, who've either witnessed it or have said it.
You're talking about outside voices.
Yeah, outside voices.
The part where we say something
horrible that's going on. And then letting that actually ring is like, oh, that's the other part that you want to bring to whatever kind of work you're doing, I think. That you're giving it air to be, there's bad shit. There's probably a lot of bad shit.
Yeah.
And there's air, there's space for this joy, or there's space for this pleasant.
Right.
There's space to be, because pleasant is kind of like a transition.
Yeah. And every time you are holding that space and giving someone the chance to say something horrible and saying that we are immediately going to laugh on it, you all do clarify that it's not because it's not serious or it's very funny, it's because we want to let that out too. But every time you're holding space for that, it sounds like you're also being open to the possibility that they might feel a certain way.
Oh yes.
Right.
I mean, I've felt a certain way and then still kept laughing. There were things that people said that would hurt. It was like, and I would just make myself laugh. But here's what I noticed. I want to go 90% of the time is the person that said it felt so much better after, because they got to laugh at it with a group of people, and it just released enough of them to then be able to go on and go back and deal with that horrible thing, whatever it happens to be.
Yeah.
It's just, once again, it's just making that space in yourself, but also collectively.
Yeah.
We don't have that practice, which is another thing about being pleasant and present.
Yeah.
I said that?
Yeah.
Robert, my friend Robert, asked me the other day, he said, what's the thing you always tell your students in class? I said, what thing? There's a lot of
That's
things.
a lot of things,
There's
yeah.
a lot of things.
How to live your best, gayest moment in any time, you know. How to be present and be pleasant. How to be in wonder. How to be have is the kind of energy where you can be 70 and unapologetically be joyous around your love for minions.
Yes. Yes.
Why not?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my God, yes. We want passion is like a drug also, because when it happens, it's, even if it's bad, but because it makes your body vibrate like passion about my minions. Some people it's in the midst of making chai.
Ginger, yes.
Exactly. The ginger.
Yes. Yes.
But I don't think that we focus on it so much, because it's dangerous. Because too much passion can scare people, or they're not used to it.
Too much passion can scare people.
I have to get one of those for my birthday.
Yeah, one of which what?
The toilet, the bidet thing.
Oh my God, it's my favorite thing to gift someone. Can I please gift you a bidet?
Yes.
I'll come install it in your home too. I love doing that.
Yes, done. Must have one of those.
It is.
Oh my God.
It is the best thing you can do to enhance your lifestyle.
I am like
every day.
There, every day.
Yeah,
at least
day.
3 times a day.
At least, yeah, exactly, yes.
Oh my God.
It took me too long to figure it out. After being in America, I was like, if that's a thing, I feel like everyone deserves to at least experience it. So calf massages, my dad back home, it was a thing where I feel like my dad had it really well figured out. He had 3 kids and he was like, you massage my head, you massage my calves, you go get me water.
Oh my God. He did.
He did.
Like, okay.
There was no check in on how's your heart feeling.
No, I was like, yes.
Come,
Dad.
do this. And that was a way of growing up too, and over time I've appreciated things about it. But one thing that came was like the one I didn't know, I didn't have many expressions of giving care to someone in a physical contact way as a Muslim boy raised in India.
Oh.
Except this one thing just became like muscle memory, because it was dad every 2 days. And now I'm like, wait, I really enjoy.
And it's needed.
Yeah, and as my black dad.
Yes. So language.
Language, yes.
How many languages do you speak?
So I'd say I'm the most fluent. Now English is also there, but Hindi, Urdu, and Hindi and Urdu, it's like sister languages. One's in the Indian script, one's in the Arabic script. And so both those, because I grew up in North India, but in like a Muslim context, so Hindi and Urdu both came. What also came with Islam was the ability to, which is something hilarious, but the ability to read Arabic firstly, and then maybe even write, but more so reading, because you are expected to be able to read the Quran. Yeah, so when I completed the Quran the first time, it was a much bigger occasion than any of my birthdays, for example. So it was like, oh, the kid has completed the Quran. This is a big step in this kid's life journey.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so that was something. But we learned how to read Arabic, but I didn't understand the word, so that was hilarious too. And
you can read it though. But
and I memorized so much of it.
Oh.
Yeah, so I can go on pretty much an Arabic freestyle rap right now, and it would be melodic too. But never understood a word besides maybe 4. And then Bengali is, I'm from West Bengal, like the Bengal tiger.
Yes.
And So I am not ethnically Bengali, but I grew up in the culture and context in proximity to it. So I picked up a little bit. So I'd say like if you count those four as four, and then add English to that, and it's a 5.
The other desire.
I never wondered how many languages you spoke. I feel like I have no idea. It could be 2 or 10. Like from
right, good. I would like it to be like 3. That's the other thing. A bidet thing, the bathroom thing, and language course. I have to speak, or just working with somebody helping me to learn another language.
Yeah, okay.
Because I want to travel and see, I know dialects in the States, but I don't know languages in other countries. It's like I didn't.
Right.
And when I was in high school at the private school, what did I take? I took Latin. So I could read, motherfucker. I can decline anything. But I didn't. It's the foundation of all the words, okay? But I didn't have to learn another language,
Right.
So I always go like, okay, that was a missed opportunity. But also living in other cultures, or access to other cultures, or the religions that are using other languages. That's another element. That's just a part of how you lived. I mean, it's just part of your makeup coming to this moment, is that's how you learned the world. That's your world.
Yeah, I see it as like language is, especially the English language, I think it's a strong, powerful tool, but it's also extraordinarily limited in some ways. And I think as you were saying, as you start befriending yourself, I think you start talking to yourself also, and more openly. And as you're moving through difficult things, what I find myself doing is, I've just realized because for the longest while I didn't have a language around a lot of the things. And what's allowed me to realize, start coming into my own fullness has been, wait, now I have a language. So now these other people can't make me feel bad for my approach to things.
Right.
So I feel like language, it's like you're articulating something to yourself to make you, to process your experiences through life. And I feel like I do that in English sometimes, but then there are times where I could say something from Urdu, and it's such a romantic language that I could never even translate it or speak it to myself in English. So like, it's,
What would you say to yourself in Urdu? I'm not going to know, but beautiful to say.
Yeah, something that's beautiful. I do my affirmations in Urdu, actually. I do my daily, and this daily thing about daily affirmations, that was a concept completely alien to me. And then I come here and there's like something like, it's a healthy thing, like it's a powerful thing, it's a spiritual thing to read these affirmations to yourself. And then I've seen a lot of people like finding affirmations to read, and then I've seen some very beautiful people write their own affirmations, and I was like gonna do that, and then I was like, wait, but if it's in Urdu, I'll get to like talk to a deeper me, like and so then it's after praying also, I'll speak to myself in Urdu, and it'll be something like, let's see what I want to share. It's मैं एक आज़ाद पैंथर हूँ, मैंने तोड़ दी हैं सब जंजीरें, मैं तलाश कर रहा हूँ इस दुनिया को और खुद को. That's part 1. And that means I am a free panther. I have broken through the shackles of this world. I am finding myself and the world. So it's something along those lines. Yeah.
That's a good affirmation.
Yeah. But it's like I could say...
But saying it in
Urdu, like I could say shackles, but shackles it's a word, but then the Urdu equivalent is zanjire. It's twice the spice level.
Yes, twice the spice. We're always going to add, if we can, there's an extra can over here in case we run out. But you should put some on. Because why? Because you should. Oh, that's so great. So you just do your morning affirmations in Urdu?
I wouldn't even call them morning affirmation.
Oh,
I feel
okay.
like it can be whenever I'm having a strong moment and I pray, or if I'm by a lake or something. Then, or if I'm feeling actually really scared. That's when I have to really come in and hold my hand and be like, okay, baby panther, it's okay, hugs. Let's remind this to ourselves. So,
So your dad used to make you do this? I mean, like,
just
do this. It wasn't like make yours like, do this.
You won't even have to say do this sometimes. You know, walking from work is like, one eye and you would know. And you can't question it. You know? And no amount of homework from school is going to be like legitimate grounds for abandoning that responsibility.
Get this done first.
Then you can get to it.
Get to those other things. That's quite a man. Okay.
Yeah, but we were like you and so I think like you talk about languages, and I feel like you are someone like you mainly talk in English.
Yes.
Yeah? But yet you travel, and I feel like you openly perceive things that like English can't contain you to. I feel like you're someone who like I talk to you in English, but I feel like I'm almost like at the edges of the language itself when I'm talking with you. Yeah. So has that come?
We have our extremes.
We have our extremes.
Yeah. And it's not everybody that need to be at this level either. You know, I think that's it's like I always put the example, like when you have a really, really great show, but not every play is going to be that great. It's like the people that you run into. You want, it's like, why are you not as great as that other? Oh, that's right, because you're not. But then it's the enjoyment of it, as, once again, as it is. Fortunately, the as is doing my calves, and it feels great.
It does, yeah. Nice.
Yes, Dad is really enjoying that. It is. That's where my acupuncture usually beats me up. So it's just much better feeling. I don't dig in there anymore. But the pressure feels good.
Nice.
And I think that's another part of when you and your house, you're the housemate. And he said you all have a gym downstairs. It was like, oh, that's the other thing. That's the other thing that has to happen.
Yeah.
Because
what's that other thing that has
getting in shape? I mean, not trying to win any contest, but just actually working out regularly. Because I used to when I was teaching. Because every class we did a warm up, right? Every class.
We would do
every
movement.
Class.
Yours was by the way, first class I walked into where it wasn't just names, pronouns, like what's going on, but it was like actually like go and you immediately have a chance to immerse yourself even physically in that space.
Right, you had to. That's what kept me in shape.
You really opened up doors in like universes for someone like an international student who never had a teacher like that before. Yeah,
that's why I was glad to be there. It was one of those joys. And it's hard to know where. So this is an upcoming episode is next. That phrase, next, what's next?
What's next?
And not that I need an answer, but there's still a little bit of excitement about what it could be. There's also, and this is, so now you got me. Now I got that other topic. High five. It's good. You did it.
I've been inching around it. I was like, I'm poking.
You did it. And it got there. That's the thing that's coming up. Okay.
That's the thing
that's coming up. And I realize that's part of my 7+ stress level. Is that I want it to be amazing as opposed to just let's just do it. And part of that has to do with finding the right people again. Because I don't know that I'm not going to get you. You also, not only do you see things I'm not going to see. And that's key to the people I want around. You know, that's Yeah, now that I'm putting that in words. That's why, I mean, that may not have been the perfect group of people, but it was
amazing.
But it was an amazing
the group
start.
you put together, yes. I was
Right.
like, there are so many different types of voices that are going to come in.
Right.
It took a little bit getting easy, but then once people were really talking and sharing open, and it was like an open feedback thing. It was like, we have this one reading, we're going to go through it, y'all are going to play it out. But then we're going to talk about what that felt like.
Yeah.
And everyone was being honest. And
Yes.
the range of voices we were getting on that. And every one of these people have had their own special friendship, relationship or creative journey with you. So it felt like it's a group of people you've met at different walks of your life.
Yeah, different points.
Different
being
points.
Here. Yeah.
And they've seen different sides of you. And this is a work about you. So it's like...
Which we're switching, I said.
Which we're switching, yes.
But what was good for is it got all of that out there. So now we have the pieces that we can take from that as opposed to taking all of it. That's what I'm looking for. It's like, okay, yes, there's some of these things that I think are really, can be part of this experience, which is really what I'm thinking, as opposed to it's a play. Because we want it to be immersive at the beginning, that there's literally images and pictures that you see as you come in, and it could be recordings, could be videos like you're doing right now.
Yeah.
And then there's all of a sudden this performance that happens in the space that's about these 3-4 stories, and then it transforms into a dance party.
And the time traveling disco.
The time traveling disco.
That's how I've been describing it, by the way. Because some people are told that, and then I'm like, honestly, Harry hasn't been able to describe it, so I'm not going to attempt. But what I can tell you about this piece, it involves a time traveling disco. How cool is that?
That is perfect. Time traveling disco. I think that's great that helps the DJ be identified. Time traveling disco, because it's got to be a dance. It's got to have the dance.
It's got to have the dance for sure.
Oh my god.
For sure. Yeah.
Oh my god.
From you were asking what it's like to be like my age in this city in this time right now, and one thing that made me sad was that BIPOC queer spaces, like clubs that specifically hold access for that. It's like there's a space that only needs to get spicy enough before it gets taken. Before it gets, So there was this place, Part Wolf, was later called, or like was called before that, the Nomad, just southeast of downtown. Have you ever heard of?
Yes.
Yes, and you know what happened to them? You know what it is now?
No, what?
A pharmacy.
Oh! Wow.
Yeah.
Just totally gone.
It is gone.
So,
yeah. But New York and in Brooklyn, what other, were there places you went to in Brooklyn as well?
They're not there anymore.
Not there. They're not there anymore.
No, they're not there anymore. Yeah, and next time I go, I should actually... Because I didn't actually look. I just knew that they weren't there, but I didn't go to all of those spaces.
Okay.
Because we were looking at places where I had, moments.
Right, moments, yeah.
Dance floor, yeah, that's one thing.
There are some very spicy moments.
No, so spicy.
It is so spicy, I don't know. It's the fact that it's coming out of Minneapolis and it's this spicy. Y'all have no idea.
Yeah, it's here.
I came back from the first day and my housemates were like, what is this like? I was like, the script is way spicier than I thought.
Yeah. It is. It is. And conversations were a lot spicier than probably any of us expected.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the interesting next moment, though. With like you say, how would I describe it now? Because Robert's rewriting. So we're, I really wanted to make sure we amped certain elements, but then there's also his desire to make something that we can tape, that we can video, so that we have something to offer to people to say, this is a project that we're working on. He really wants something that is really tangible.
Yeah, there's so much power I've found like in just going around, even in like my much earlier creative exploration journey as I'm going around Minneapolis. I worked on the first film, did my first acting thing with hobos.
Oh yes.
Yeah, and just having like a little piece of video, the song video, or like the first full part one, working with Rume has been like, if I can show, I'm so excited to be in Mumbai now. And where it's like, I'm not just painting these ideas, but it's like to give someone a little taste of the flavor. It's like, yeah, actually check this video out.
Yes,
like
good.
Get to experience it a little bit.
Did you do videos of the event that you had on that Saturday up north?
Minnesota Masala.
Yeah, Minnesota
Masala
you
was...
have images?
Yeah, so we had my friend Nemul is a videographer. He came in and he just came in earlier for the setup and then more so for the disco and wrap-up part as well. I think he got some very spicy shots, but it is the way I approached the space was like it's gonna be like art networking going on. It's gonna be different creatives can come in and come with their craft, do what they want. It's not transactional at all. Anyone who's a performer is coming in to perform simply they want. So Nemul's coming in, shooting videos. Then it's his project. So it's like, do you want to make a film out of this?
I see.
So I'm very curious to see what comes out of that. Yeah, but when it does, I'm definitely showing it to you.
Yeah, it'll be good.
So the idea for Robert is that...
Yeah, so that it I don't know how immersive in the sense of the audience helps move the piece, because that's what I'm not sure of, because I'm also trying to think of space.
Yeah.
Like, what does it mean about the environment that it's being created in? How much is technology?
Right.
You know, because I don't think
and you sure have your frustrations with people who are very serious about Zoom.
Yes. Oh, excuse me. Stop that. Okay, Panther, sorry. It was a Panther moment.
Yes. Yes.
Big cuffing. So that the work can be hard, but it feels good who you're working with it being hard. You know, that's like, I want to fly together. I want to fall together. I want to get up together. And it's not that it's impossible. It's just we don't have the practice of doing it. So when it happens, it's so intense that it's almost overwhelming. But then that's the thing you're wanting, is that kind of depth and rankling work. So then how do you embrace that to be a part of what the piece is? Because the piece can't necessarily be a reflection or a flash, what would be, not necessarily an imitation, but it's like, well, that's what, if this was really intense, that's what it would be, as opposed to it being able to be that raw, that intentional, because that's what kind of acting I want to be able to do still.
Yeah.
See, that's the bottom line of where it all came from. That I told Robert I still need to act. And then he brought up this story about Glenn Burke.
Right.
And so it might be a good character that we could create.
Yeah.
And then it came into my story and connection to Glenn Burke, and now so it's evolved.
And the synchronicity on that was pretty crazy. Like, you saw Glenn Burke's story, you and Robert,
right?
And then it was like, wait, I have also been there.
I would have been there in 1977. You know, in those clubs in LA when he was probably there.
Yeah.
Yes.
You never met him?
No, at least I don't think so.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how do you know that? Yeah, maybe all.
There were a lot of people that didn't give me their name. I didn't ask.
Turns out 10 years later you realize, oh wait, I did have a spicy 3 moments with Glenn.
I thought your name was Cortez. Oh Lord.
Being a panther in a world full of humans.
Being a panther in a world.
Because you're being a panther in all of these worlds, and how is Minneapolis in terms of being a jungle for a well season?
Well, the thing of it is, I'm in the tower. You know, I'm home, so I'm not out on the field. I'm not out in the plains. See, when I was even going to McAllister, I was out so regularly, so much more. But now I'm not. So when I go to spaces like I did Sunday, when I was doing the outreach, the training for rep in front of Pillsbury House, where we're doing these, enactments of someone losing their mind on the street. It was, I got to just go off. I was just...
Yeah, you were telling me about that they'll have that enactment, and in my head I was like, there was a little bit of a visioning of you like enacting that and letting your like showing the full rawness of you.
Yeah.
Sometimes I've seen you in spaces and places, and even like with High Five, where I'm like, Harry has a range of emotions that this space doesn't accommodate. Like, so sometimes I think you're like holding on to all of that energy, and it's like, where do you find those little moments of unleash?
And
but it came with that. Yeah.
I'm gonna unleash that. So that was a good thing. So that was Sunday.
That was Sunday.
I got to scream again, basically, be a loud, crazy person, but then also be a concerned citizen. You're seen, role playing for their training. And that has to do with acting. So going back, that's where High Five started, because I hadn't acted in a while. I've done some appearances. I've played some characters that just sort of like appear, but as opposed to
actually. It was a lot more directing than acting.
A lot more directing. Yeah. Which I really love and enjoy.
Yeah.
But I also was spoiled because I was directing at McAllister, and I had resources.
Right.
I had 2 theaters. I had a costume shop. We had furniture storage. We had prop storage. There was design labs.
Yeah.
So we had students or guests that would also work on the shows. So I could have big, huge ideas and create spectacles.
Yeah.
As opposed to doing with what you have, or who you have.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been able to learn in the last couple of years, which I really enjoy.
Yeah, because it's now that you say thinking of it that way, where I've been often like when I had the comforts of McAllister as an institution, like I didn't even realize the kind of the access that we get is so huge. It took me like removing myself from it. I was like, whoa, wait, that was a lot of access. Maybe didn't even tap into like a broad range of it, but now it's also like adventurous and skillful to find and like be out there in the jungle and find those little pools of resources in making something.
Pools of resources.
Can we do a final quick question?
Yes.
What do you have to say to the beautiful beings out there, even when it comes to intimacy between men?
There's passion.
Yes.
There's lust. There's desire. And then there's comfort. And so what we shy away from is the comfort, because we feel it has to go to lust. So we don't have enough, and I don't want to say tenderness.
Tenderness.
Yes. And sometimes it's just in pausing as opposed to grabbing. Because there's something about we've been taught, let me see your hand. We've been taught this.
Right. Yeah.
As opposed to this.
Just that. Right.
And so
focusing on the next thing,
we're
making the moves
or it's about wanting as opposed to just being. It's like I want you. It's like the intimacy gets lost there because it's about I've got to have you, as opposed to I'm here with you. And that's all I got to say about that.
Wow. Mashallah. Thank you. Let me give you a hug.
Let me get all the way up.
It'd be funny if we spoke about intimacy between men and then we just shook hands and walked away.
Exhale as I say. Always something different happens when you exhale. Have you noticed that? Why don't you do that more often?
More exhales, yes.
More often. It's just like letting yourself in a moment of just going,